What is going on, everybody? We have episode 15. This is a special episode because we got the dude who you have all been requesting for the past, Bobby, what is it, like past 4 or 5 weeks? Everyone wants to talk to this guy. Everyone wants to hear from him. It's kind of a mysterious dude, so we're excited to have him on here. How you feeling, Bobby?
I'm excited, man. Ethan Bonner, is a hot name this camp. He's a man of mystery, a man of few words. We don't know much about him. He's not on socials a lot. So I'm excited to be able to talk to him, and we all learn about him and share his story with everyone.
Yeah, I can't wait to learn about Ethan today. But this is going to be an awesome episode. We appreciate everybody showing up. We know it's a holiday weekend. I was out in the sun, a little bit burnt. I got some I definitely got some color here. I'm looking a little bit more tan than Bobby out here. Bobby's out in the basement over here. But yeah, Bobby, let's get going. Let's go.
I'm putting the helmet on as always.
The opportunity is right now.
Terrific defensive play. Intercepted. From the Balboa. Off the block. Two on the move. Going deep. Speedways. He's got Hill. He's got Hill. The Dolphins have recaptured the lead.
Shout out FinHub for that incredible introduction. You can see we are without Joe Robbie today, but he had some family gatherings that he had to be at. But it's going to be myself, Bobby, and our newest guest for episode 15, Ethan Bonner. What's up, man? How we doing?
How's it going, man? Good to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate having you on. You get this time. Let's see, this time next week, man. You'll be running out of the tunnel.
Game time, man. Yeah, it's here. Exciting.
Yeah. It got here real quick, and you just had an incredible camp. Like I said, you have been like the most requested person that's coming through our mentions on the Dive Bar account, just like begging to hear from you. People just want to know, like, your fan favorite. It's pretty cool. We'll get into a little bit, but it's a little bit different of a camp this year than it was last year. Making the 53 coming through here. I think last year, I think they waived you and they brought you back on the practice squad last year. So what's the difference between, just talk about a little bit of a difference between last year and this year in the camp situation?
Yeah, I mean, last year I actually had like a SC joint sprain in my collarbone. So I missed like the first 2 preseason games, which were crucial for, making the team, getting tape. So that really kind of hurt me. I was lucky enough that I think Fangio really kind of liked me. So he brought me back on the practice squad, which I was very grateful for, because I knew a lot of guys that got cut, like right after they sustained an injury. So honestly, I look back on it and I'm I feel very blessed that they were able to bring me back. And I was able to stick around. But this year, I don't know, I came in, definitely had a little more confidence. Confident in my game. I think I had a good OTAs. I was feeling good. Definitely got some confidence from playing, in some games last year. So I don't know. I would say, honestly, just the biggest difference was just confident in my game and my ability to go out there and actually play.
Talk about your experience with cutdown day. Obviously, last year you're undrafted free agent guy. You're sweating. You're sweating the clock. This year, you kind of earned your reps. You're out there. You're making a name for yourself. Maybe this is just my opinion. Maybe less nerve-wracking this year. Maybe it wasn't for you. What was that like?
To be honest, it was still pretty, because I just didn't know what was going to happen. I wanted to think that I was going to make it, and I thought I was, but at the same time, you just never know. And, we had a lot of good guys in our room. It was very competitive. So, I mean, it was honestly still, a little nerve-wracking, and just kind of a grim day overall for a lot of people. So, but yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, I mean, everyone knows, everyone wants to talk about your speed as a player. but you really kind of established yourself as like a boundary cornerback on this team. And, the team has a ton of faith and confidence in you. And like I said, you building confidence in yourself. Like take us back through, cause you're originally from Texas, correct? Yeah. And then you make your way all the way to Stanford. So like growing up in Texas, like were you a multi-sport athlete? Like what was your childhood like growing up? When did you figure out, like, did you just realize that you had like this elite speed and this elite talent, or is it something that you kind of cultivated over the years? Were you a multi-sport athlete? Just take us a little bit through your journey from growing up and making your way all the way from Texas over to Stanford.
Yeah. So growing up, I played just about every sport you could. My first love was probably soccer. And then I got into baseball. I played lacrosse for a little bit. I tried to get back into baseball, but once high school came around, like football was number one, for sure. I mean, I just loved football more than anything. And then I got into track, and that's probably was very crucial in like my development as an athlete, I think, in terms of just speed and athletic ability. But yeah, I mean, my junior year, I had a good year coming out. Actually tore my ACL summer going into my senior year. So I sat out the whole year. I didn't play. Ran track though. We had a really good track team. Won state my junior and senior year, back to back in the 4x2, medaled in the 4x1. But yeah, I'd say like, I don't know, that development and then going to Stanford and really learning how to train, and how to like really train and train speed and train explosiveness. I think that was probably most crucial in my development as an overall athlete. I think I got a lot faster from the training at Stanford than I was just like naturally in high school. But yeah, we had a great strength staff. Shout out Colin Carroll. But I would say my time at Stanford and just developing under their training and their regiment, like that was most crucial in my development, like as a player and an athlete.
Yeah, college can like the conditioning programs like are absolutely incredible. Like they've come such a long way. We all these athletes that are like, because you look at some of these athletes like coming from high school, like being prospects from high school, and then they sometimes will take the field freshman year or sophomore year, and you're looking at like a completely different person.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Is that like an intense thing? Like, do they put you on like diets? Like, what is that a tough thing to make that transition? Because I mean, like literally, people are especially at that D1 level, and going to a huge school like that, like making huge transformations. Did you like have any kind of transformation like that?
Yeah. So I was a stick in high school. I was like really skinny.
How skinny we talking?
I came out. I was probably like 170.
Damn. Okay.
Skinny.
But like, granted, I'm like 6'1", so I'm not like.
You were thin. You're thinned out pretty good then.
Like yeah, so like I'm thinned out pretty well. So then my first probably 6 months there, I put on probably like 15 pounds.
Nice.
Just because I mean I got there and I was like, damn, like I'm pretty small compared to like everybody else.
Yeah.
So got on their plan. Dieting, nutrition, just stuffing my face, gaining weight.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that was probably like my freshman to sophomore year was probably like just the biggest overall transformation. Just in terms of weight, speed, muscle, all that.
You said you missed your whole senior year with an injury. I know a lot of people say like that's your biggest, from your junior to your senior year is your biggest like recruitment year. And some people will have an injury and miss their senior year and they'll never go to college because they didn't get that, that's where you find your home. Talk about your recruitment experience and how did you end up with Stanford? Like, were they in on you early or like, how did that all go down?
Yeah, so that's actually an interesting story. So I got the Stanford offer probably in the spring of like my senior year after my junior season. I think, wait, no, that can be right. It was like early spring, I think. But So they had called me and told me they were interested. I had a couple other offers. I wasn't like a huge recruit. I think I was like the 3-star on some website or like a 2-star on others. And I had a couple like Power 5 offers, but nothing crazy, no SEC schools or anything. But I was talking to Stanford, which is ironically I was actually committed to Northwestern before I committed to Stanford. Actually, I had to uncommit from Northwestern, which was extremely uncomfortable and awkward conversation to have. But the Stanford coach called me the same day to offer me that I found out that I tore my ACL. And, I just told him, I was like, listen, like, I just got MRI results back. I tore my ACL. And like he was calling to offer me a scholarship. And so I think he kind of like freaked out and didn't really know what to do. But I got very, very fortunate that coaching staff, believed in me and still gave me a scholarship to play there. Because I was thinking, I didn't know what was going to happen once that news broke. But I was very fortunate that coaching staff just, trusted in my ability to rehab my knee and just get back to 100%. But yeah, I didn't play my senior year, but still got an offer to Stanford, and I couldn't be happier with how it turned out.
You mentioned it, so we have to ask. Tell us about the decommitting story. Like, because look, I've heard a few of those stories over the years, and they're always as bad or as awesome as you would expect. Calling like these head football coaches are like dudes. They're not like suit and tie guys. So like, I remember some ex-player told a story one time. He called a school and was like, "Sorry, Coach O or whoever, I'm gonna have to decline. I'm going to Alabama now." And like, motherfucker, is like, are you fucking kidding me? 5 minutes from the deadline.
Yeah. So I probably committed there too early. I didn't really know what I was doing in terms of like my recruitment. But what happened was I'd called him, and I was like awkwardly, I was like, "So I'm really sorry, coach, but I'm gonna have to decommit. Like I want to explore other options." And just like the tone of voice was just kind of like, damn, it was like, it's like I was in trouble. Like, like the principal, is getting on to me or something. Like I got detention, but it was like, like this decision is, irreversible. You can't come here if you're doing this. You can't come back to us 2 weeks later. But it wasn't a pleasant conversation to have, but I think deep down it probably, you got to do what's best for you. And I think most people, just as human beings, can relate to that. But it was definitely a little awkward.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough to call them up, and schools reaching out to you and like we're gonna take a chance on this kid. But I mean, everything worked out in the end here. So you're here in Miami. It's like fast forward, you're here in Miami. What was it like? We always like to ask players this because everyone has like kind of like a funny story or like, what was the first time like you met Mike McDaniel here, and what was that interaction like?
I guess it was rookie mini camp. You get here and right off the plane, you're just kind of thrown into the fire. You got to do all these testing and physicals and stuff. And then right after that, it's like rookie mini camp. So like you don't even really have time to blink. But I guess that, there's a team meeting just with all the rookies that came in. And that was the first time I met Mike. And I knew coming in that he was a different kind of head coach, but I just remember walking in to a team meeting, and he's like blasting some rap song, just trying to get the boys hyped for practice, and I don't even remember what he said, but I just remember thinking like, well, this guy's pretty sick, like,
yeah.
But he's a great, like, I love Coach Mike. I think he's a great coach, and I think we can make some noise this year.
Dude, definitely. It's actually funny. We had Tanner on Tanner Connor on a couple weeks back or 3 weeks ago, and he was telling us a story. He's like, when Mike comes into the weight room and it's just you two in there, he's like, I really like your blue collar guys. Really nose to the grindstone here. Working your tail off, lunch pail guys. But he's always like a character in
he's funny. He's always making jokes like that. I think the story you're talking about, it was like me and Tanner working out in the weight room. And he's like walking by, like, I fucking love this. Like, of course you two are in here. Blue collar, grinding. It was fun.
Real smart players. Yeah, real smart. It's sneaky fast. But you're not sneaky fast, dude. We had Tyreek on here, and Tyreek gave you, like, he was like, that man is running 22 miles an hour out here. So, I don't think you're sneaking up on anybody with that kind of speed, man. That's crazy.
You did make a good point, though. I seen an interview you did, and somebody was asking you about like track and speed in practice or whatever, and you were like, I've hit 21 or something this off season. He said, but let's be honest, if you're hitting 22 at corner, you probably got burnt.
Yeah,
and that's a great point. I never really thought about that.
That's actually a really good point.
I'd say it's harder to like hit. It's just harder in general for defensive players to hit like higher speeds because we're playing like backwards. Yeah. And when you're running a route, you're like, you're sprinting downfield. If I'm covering a route, I'm backpedaling. It's just a little different. But yeah, like in general, like the only time I hit 22, or like the few times I have hit 22, it's been like to chase somebody down that like broke free on a run. Yeah. Or like just like on the other side of the field, I'm like running down a route. But yeah, I'd say it's definitely harder, like from a defensive perspective, to like hit high end speeds.
Yeah.
Or if you're running with Tyreek on a fade route, it's gonna get up there.
Yeah. But I actually want to jump into the joint practices here, and a little moment that had the timeline like on fire, man, was you did play at Stanford. You played USC. You ever play with Drake London before, right?
Yeah.
Was there anything going on before that, or we're just like, Ethan's got that dog in him, man?
A
little tougher with him.
Yeah, that story was kind of, I think, blown out of proportion.
Oh, of course, dude.
Of course, it's Twitter.
I think the media took that and ran with it. But yeah, there was a scuffle. I'm not going to get into like all the details.
Oh, you don't know. You don't have to.
Who it was, and who was involved. Which is crazy, though. I saw that some other teams got fined like hundreds of thousands of dollars for like fighting joint practices. And that practice for us was very chippy.
Yeah.
There was like 3 or 4 fights.
Yeah, so I'm like surprised we haven't got hit with anything yet. But, you never know the league, I guess.
Well, let's go fingers crossed. But we've had some defensive players on here too, and some players that played for Fangio, and now they got Coach Weaver now, and like there's an aggressiveness to this defense this year. It's you're going to be I assume primarily probably going to be playing on the boundary. What are some differences between like Fangio's defense and Coach Weaver, and just like what's it like for you this year, especially being like an established player in this defense, and you're going to see probably a lot more time than you did last year, and with moving guys around. I think one practice we saw Jalen Ramsey like lining up over center, which is crazy. So moving you out to boundary and everything like that. So what's some of the differences that you're seeing, and that you like obviously you're gonna be more comfortable this year with the role that you have. But I just want to hear a little bit more about Coach Weaver. Heard he's funny.
Yeah, no, love Coach Weave. Have a lot of respect for him. But also Coach Fangio. I really actually like Coach Fangio. I think he's a great coach.
Yeah.
Definitely a legend in the football world. But, as a defense, I think this year we might be a little more just aggressive at times in terms of getting after the quarterback. But I think every defense in the NFL is, has a lot of similarities. Everybody runs quarters. Everybody runs man. Just different variations of it with different terminology and, maybe a little different technique. But no, I'm excited because we have Jalen,
Yep.
and they're going to really move him around and utilize his skill set. I think, and I think our defense can be really good this year. So I'm excited to see what we can do.
You got
I
a
think
lot of talent this year.
Yeah.
having Ramsey in the star role is just such a cheat code too. I don't know why anybody wouldn't utilize that. Like having a Hall of Famer chess piece that you can put anywhere, dude. I'm ready to see Ramsey back in the star role. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. I think he's going to have a great year.
Yeah, unfortunately, he had that meniscus last year, so it's like, thank God, like, where you'd see like a full season of Jalen Ramsey. And I think the first game that he came back, he picked off, I think it was in the Oakland game last year. He had 2 interceptions. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Or that maybe it was the Patriots. That's what it was.
Patriots, yeah.
The comeback route.
Yeah, that was crazy, dude. I was we were at the game, and the crowd was just like, it went insane just because it was like Jalen Ramsey. So I'm happy that he's healthy. I'm happy that he's going to get his full season in.
Yeah, great for the team too.
Oh yeah,
defense. He's kind of the heartbeat of defense, I think, a little bit. So, yeah, I'm excited to watch him play this year.
He gave a little speech that almost like every player that has come on here has talked about, and how, like, getting over that hump, getting over that playoff hump, getting over like any kind of like January blues or anything for the team. And he's like, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna prove it. Did you hear that? Like, were you a part of that? Did you hear? I think he addressed the team, but we've heard about that from like every player. And it's like stuck with the players. Sometimes like people just give speeches, between practices, but this one really stuck with all the players, and this was like weeks back.
Yeah, that was pretty early in camp, I think. But that was he's a leader. He's been in this league for a while. So when he talks, you listen. But it was really just a point of us not being soft, basically.
Yeah.
But it was a good speech. I think it inspired a lot of guys. Kind of sparked a fire inside a lot of guys. Just about the whole Miami being soft.
Mm-hmm.
The not winning a playoff game in how many years. So really just taking all that negative noise and turning it into something positive and motivation for this year, because I think everybody in this locker room knows like how much talent we have. And at this point, it's up to us, how far we go, and how well we do this year. But I'm excited. I'm really excited. I think we can win a lot of football games.
What is your initial thoughts of Kendall Fuller?
Yeah, great guy. Super intellectual, very smart player, experienced, obviously. So it's been really cool to be in the same room with him, and just kind of talk to him about how he sees the game. Just because he's played so many snaps in this league, and experience and reps is very like valuable, So it's been really cool to get to know him, golf with him, here and there too.
Oh, you're a big golfer. I think everybody on this team golfs, bro.
It's a big thing, right? Like everybody's get into it. Yeah, I started going with Javon like early in the season, and then next thing you know, like all these guys were all like making group messages like, "Oh, I got a tee time." Like, we had a couple of team events where like probably 20, 30 guys came out and golfed. Yeah, we got some golfers on the team, and it's Florida, so good places to play, right?
I think that's one of the funniest things about it is it used to be a running punchline that everybody be like, "Oh, Tua's golfing again, and he's not practicing." So the whole team did the funniest thing ever. They all started golfing. Now you can't talk about anything.
Yeah, right. Like everybody's out there.
Every day you get on Instagram, it's like, "Oh, Jev's got the whole DB room out there again."
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, Jalen went out with Tua one time, I think.
Oh yeah, he had that sick picture where he was smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, but I started playing. I played a little bit in college, but I was never any good. I mean, I'm still not very good, but I can at least like hit some balls and play, right? I'm not just shanking and clubbing every ball, but
Just get out there and have fun.
Really playing like this off season, just because I would have free time. You know, you train in the morning, but you can't work out like all day long. You know, it's not like a typical 9 to 5 where you're just at the office all day. So yeah, in the off season, I really started getting into it a little bit. And I still actually use my dad's like old clubs from I don't even know how old they are, but they're pretty old. They're like Mizuno, but I have this like emotional connection to them where I don't want to get new clubs, but they're pretty scuffed up. Could definitely use some new clubs.
Yeah.
But you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So
my favorite thing is
Vaughn's always telling me I got to get new clubs. I'm like, dude, like why?
My favorite thing is to keep the old used clubs, because you can always say like, yeah, look what I imagine if I had nice clubs.
Yeah,
you can always blame the clubs. Like once you get the nice stuff, like you're on your own, bud.
Yeah, then I have no excuse for like why I sliced 30 yards right, you know.
Yeah, I always keep the Goodwill sack on me.
Yeah, and when you're on the golf course, man, I'm always looking for the dude that's got like the fresh Nike hat, the polo on. He's got the beautiful slacks. He's got like Nike, like the brand new Nike shoes on. He's got the towel hanging from his bag. He's got the $600 bag. And then I always watch that guy because it is always funny to see how bad of a swing some of those guys have. You always want to have like not the best equipment if you're not the best golfer, because you always, again, like Bobby said, you always got the excuse and you don't have the expectation that like, you know, people are definitely gonna be watching. But that's like the funniest thing to me is dudes come out like dripped out and probably like they just came out from Dick's Sporting Goods, something like that.
Right. Yeah.
And
they just got Galaxy threw up all over them.
Worst swing I've ever seen in my life, bro.
Oh man, but yeah, golf has definitely been a hobby of mine that has grown a little bit. Just something to do. I love being outside. You know, it's just always hot, but it is what it is. I'm from Texas. I'm used to the heat.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm outside and sweating my ass off, but I'm golfing, I'm all right. You know, it's like
what's the difference between that Texas heat and that that Miami heat now?
Honestly, it's very similar climates.
Nice.
Honestly, like last summer, I remember going back for a couple of days, and I was just curious. So I would like compare the weather,
right?
And it feels like in like where I'm from, the Woodlands, it's a little north of Houston, so it's further from like the coast than Miami is.
Yeah.
To the water, but I remember there was like a several day period, and it was like always hotter and more humid in the Woodlands. So it's honestly like it's very similar climate. It's hot and humid. Honestly, I've noticed sometimes here, like since you're close to the ocean, we get the breeze. But like a lot of times, like back home, it's like there's no breeze. It's just like still
microwave.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, they're like pretty much the same. They're like it's just hot as fuck. Excuse my friend.
Yeah, all good. But, yeah, I actually live in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Okay.
So I'm about 3 hours from you. And I tell these guys all the time, I was like, it's hot as shit here. Like we got water, but it's still water. Yeah. So it just comes out the ground.
Heat rising, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bunch of still water, man, and the freaking mosquitoes.
Yeah. So I'm actually I was actually born in Mississippi. Small town in Mississippi. Grew up there for about, I think I was 6 or 7 when I moved. I don't know if you guys knew that, but you know, since you said Louisiana, it just made me think of that. But
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't tell from Bayou Bob's accent. It sounds like Coach O. No, it's you, dude.
Got that Cajun.
Recruiting.
Are you a LSU fan?
No.
What's your team?
I don't really have a college team. Well, basketball, I'm a big UNC fan. I'm originally from North Carolina. Born and raised North Carolina until I was 25. Moved to Lafayette. Been here since. I'm a big UNC basketball guy. not really much to root for in football with UNC, but I still root for them.
Yeah.
But I just enjoy college football, man. I like watching Saturday games like everybody else.
Yeah. Thanks.
Dude,
Also,
yesterday was big for Miami. I mean, dude, all the Dolphins fans crossover, U fans, that was a huge day, man.
Yeah, Miami played Florida, huh?
Yeah.
I whooped
Yeah.
them. Whooped them. Cam Ward looks absolutely sick this year.
Yeah, I didn't catch the game, but I remember seeing the score. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, he had a hell of a game. Ethan, I want to ask. We all watched. We were all like really excited to see. Like I said, dude, I don't know if, like you said, you're not really on socials too much. You're not on Twitter, but like, not to gas you up or anything like that. But like I said, you've been a fan favorite. Just about like everybody's tweeting at you. Like said, people were adding us to like try to get you on the podcast, and we're so grateful that you're able to come on here. One of the biggest things everyone was watching in that first preseason game was just we were like focused on you because we want to see like that progression and that development that you had from last year, and you had a fantastic game, dude. And you had the timeline and kind of like fired up when refs didn't call that face mask, man. Right after the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's a sore subject. No, I'm kidding, but
dude, we all saw it. So like everyone saw it immediately.
Yeah, I was a little upset about that for sure, but you know, I mean, it's football. Like shit like that's not always going to get called. And you just got to play the next play. You can't get hung up on stuff like that. But yeah, it happened. Moved on, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, everyone saw it, man. No problem. Like everyone's like, God damn, we didn't throw that flag, but it's
and then actually, if I remember correctly, I know like in the video it might look like it was my face mask, but it was actually, I mean, he might have grabbed my face mask first, but it was actually like my shoulder pads, like my jersey.
Oh damn! Yeah,
he like basically just pulled himself through and kind of really got me off balance, but
cheating.
Not that matters, but you know, preseason game, it's in the past. Moving on.
Well, dude, it's tough playing corner, man. Like cornerback it's probably the most difficult spot when it comes to like spotlight. It's like if your name's not mentioned all game, like that's the best game you've ever played. Yeah.
I mean, you're on an island 80% of the time, at least. You know. Yeah. I'm biased, but obviously, but I think corner is the hardest position.
Yeah. I would agree.
Mentally, I think it's quarterback, but like athletically, physically, I think it's cornerback. You know, I think a lot of people would agree. Just playing DB, you know, you're playing backwards. You don't know what that is. But you know, that's where technique and fundamentals, which is always preached in football world. But yeah, it's a difficult position, but
yeah,
it's just it's the name of the game. You got to go out there and execute.
Speaking of technique and fundamentals, I've heard you talk about that a few times. That was your big emphasis from last year to this year, working on it. I don't know if it's more scheme or you, but it seems like you're really confident out there. I don't think there's many times, if ever, you're not like full on press up in the guy's face. So like, is that a you thing or is that the scheme? But you seem pretty comfortable with that, trusting your technique and everything.
Yeah, no, I mean, we do press a lot in this defense, so that's definitely part of it. But yeah, I mean, once you go against guys like Jalen and Tyreek, you kind of that's as good as it gets. Tyreek is the best player in the NFL, so getting to go against guys like that really kind of builds confidence that you can go out there on Sundays and play against guys that are not as good. So yeah, I mean, I think just from last year to this year, it's just really just been I've able to be more comfortable out there. Because like you said, it's a tough position. Guys can get flustered and drop in performance, but really just focusing in on my technique, trying to be as coachable as possible. That's really all it is. I just want to be the best player I can be. Like with my natural abilities, I just want to kind of maximize my potential as a player. That's like my biggest probably fear is not maximizing myself. as a player. So I'm going to try to do everything I can to do that.
That's really of you to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. And like being like the undrafted free agent last year, we had another guy on the team this year, Storm Duck, coming in, and 53. What's your experience been working with him? And you like give him any guidance, like as an undrafted free agent? I know that you had this only your second year here, but just the journey that you take, and did you take him under a wing or like give him any guidance from that perspective? Because he seems like a cool dude. Like watching his press like that, and great athlete. I mean, he performed. I mean, he earned that spot on the team, just like everybody does. But what was it like? What's it like working with him?
Former Tar Heel.
Yeah, I was about to say former UNC guy. It's been great though. He came in and really put his head down and worked hard. I think like from the first day I met him, I knew he was a really hard worker. He had his head screwed on straight. But he's done a phenomenal job. Like you said, he earned that spot. He's playing really well. He's playing good football. I think he's really confident. Definitely gotten more comfortable out there. But he's come along really fast. He's done really well for himself, and I'm happy for him. He's playing really, really good football.
And with that said, going through camp this year, we always like to ask players, like, who was like one? It doesn't have to be like a rookie or an undrafted free agent or anybody. It could be anybody. It could be our first round pick. Who's one player that you kind of noticed from your perspective, whether offense or defensively, that's really come along this year or giving you problems on defense? Somebody that really sticks out in your mind.
Ooh, it's tough. I mean, a lot of guys have just had really good camps.
Seems it this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to start. I mean, Julian's playing great football. Tanner's, having a really strong camp. Tua's playing great. Obviously Tyreek and Jalen. I'm trying to think though, like one guy. I'll go with Channing Tindall.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I think Channing
that's a good one.
A great camp, and kind of proving that he can be out there on defense, take on a bigger role. I'm going to go with Channing. I think Channing's having a great camp, going out there and just playing really, really good, gritty football. So that's my pick, 41, Channing Tindall.
That's exciting to hear for us because, Channing's had a couple of years in the league now where he hadn't seen the field much. I feel like he could be a really good scheme fit, especially with like if Weaver brings the same D that like Baltimore ran, like blitzing linebackers and athleticism at the linebacker spot is so key. And just like let Tindall loose and let him get after it. I think he can really have a good year. I think he can be impactful.
Yeah, I think he's really worked hard, and I think he's gonna have a good year. I'm excited.
Yes. Really good point that you brought up. I think this is like the first year I've seen in like a while, and we're pretty plugged in with the team. But this year, like you have so many names every single day coming across the timeline. Like, oh, this guy's having a great camp. Oh, this guy's having a great camp. So like, it's kind of funny hearing it from you, like as a player. Like, dude, everyone's had a great camp, and it's not kind of just player speak. It's like seriously that everyone's been having a great camp, because usually some guys really separate themselves, but it just seems like everyone on this team is like on a different level this year. You get that feeling?
Yeah, I mean, just coming in, I think the culture that kind of Mike has cultivated it's just very different, and it's a lot of another like buzzword or buzz phrase. It's kind of cliche, but it's true. It's like competitive, but not combative, So yeah. I think a lot of guys, came in and nobody was really like walking around with this big ego, like, oh, I'm a starter. Everybody just came to work. And every day we go out there, like Mike makes an emphasis, like we're here to compete and get better. Don't waste this opportunity that we have today to practice and get better, and steal game reps. So that, you go that hard in practice so that when it comes to the game, like, you don't flinch. It's as competitive as it is, if not less than like our practices,
Exactly. Who's big on that was we had Alec Ingold on, and he talks about competing the right way. I mean, dude, that guy walks the walk. First of all, like everything that he's about is like real. Like I think we were all fired up on the podcast. I'm like about to run through a wall after talking with Alex, but that was one thing that he really talked about was like if you're going to compete the right way. It's like you're not trying to put this man out of a job. Like you're competing with him and you're doing it together. And he's like, there's a right way and there's a wrong way, and everyone is really, especially this year, just doing it the right way. And that was pretty cool to hear from him.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm sure he hit it right on the head. But yeah, I mean, it's been a really good camp, I think, for so many guys. But yeah, I think the team is looking good, and I'm very excited to get out there and play against somebody else.
So we can't have you on and not ask you about this. I know you're not on socials much, but there's been revelation that the white cornerback is back in the league, and you're at least 1/3 of the solution. Do you hear about that? I mean, is there any added pressure? I mean, you're holding the whole race on your back.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, that's funny. I mean, I knew that question was coming. It always does. But I mean, I try. Honestly, I don't really think about it that much. I mean, yeah, last year, or I guess this year, there's 3 of us, right? So definitely a small club, right?
Exclusive.
I've heard Crackerback.
Oh my God, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that was from Jeff. I know that was from Jeff. You don't have to call him out.
The Great White Hope is another one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of funny nicknames, but I mean, yeah, honestly, I just try to go out there and play football. I don't really think about. I mean, I'm not out there like, damn, like I'm white and I'm playing corner. Like, who let me do that? No,
no, dude.
It's just funny.
I know. I understand like the comical aspect of it, but I think I realized a long time ago, like I can play. White, brown, yellow, purple, whatever. Like I can play. So, yeah, honestly, I don't think about it too much. Obviously, it's like I know it's like a big thing on like social media and stuff.
Yeah,
I do get a laugh out of it every now and then. Like my friend maybe like will send me a tweet or something like telling me, But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But it is kind of funny. So.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, the thing is, at the end of the day, like, of course, like it's all jokes, whatever, and you obviously have separated yourself, as a player on this team. You've earned that right, and it's we're excited for you. We're happy to have you on the team, and it's been like I said, just from last year to this year, just watching your progression and getting those reps in, and like watching that first preseason game. It's like a lot of people are excited to see you out there, man, on Sundays, especially, just to help this team out and do what you can. And we're excited to see Coach Weaver's defense and what he's going to cook up week 1. And, like I said, literally it's 12:54 now. So it's it's 6 minutes and 24 hours and 6 minutes until 7 weeks and 2 hours until, you're on the field on Sunday. But what's that feel like right now? It's like you looking forward to it? You're taking a day at a time and don't want to get ahead of yourself, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I think I always try to take things as they come, every day. But I'm definitely excited. I put a lot of time into this. Yep. So I'm very excited to get out there and go play and put some good stuff on tape. But I'm just excited for the team in general, though, because, like I said, probably 10 times now, I think this team can be really good. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go out there and compete with these guys. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm excited.
Yeah. It's a really exciting time, especially just like from a fan perspective. It's there's so much talent on this team at like every position. It's our defensive back room is awesome. The running backs coming in, bringing in a guy like Jalen Wright to add to Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane.
Right.
Like that's crazy. Like, so it's everywhere you look on this team. It's a track team, and we're just really excited to see everybody here. And what's going to go on next weekend.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good one.
Well, all right, Ethan, we won't hold you up any longer. We appreciate you making time for us and working this out with us and coming on and letting people hear more about you and learning more about you, and just especially on a holiday weekend, the week before the season starts. We really appreciate you taking some time and coming on and chatting with us, brother.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on, guys. It was fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, we wish you like the healthiest and happiest season, and we'll be rooting for you for sure on Sunday, bro.
All right, appreciate that, guys, man.
All right, guys.
Good luck. All right, thanks, guys.
See you, everybody.